Solitaire, I am the knight. I am not getting the limited edition of Batman Arkham Knight, and neither are you, or you, or you, or you, or you. Riddle me this. Who's getting Batman Arkham Knight? Not a single fucking person whatsoever. And little Riddler trophy pops up. Ding! So, Warner Brothers decided to have a little PR statement informing everybody that on Tuesday, when this big bat extravaganza drops on the store shelves and drops into motherfucking consoles and laps of gamers world round that want to go and take up the mantle of the bat, dealing out vigilante justice with the hammers of justice. Well, your limited edition ain't gonna happen. So, no Batmobile, no graphic novel, no little slips of fucking DLC, just one of many. That's not gonna happen, due in part to the quality just wasn't up to standard. Now, whenever they manufactured these, as a matter of fact, this particular version and the last version were both done in conjunction with a company called Project Triforce. So Project Triforce have worked with tons of companies. They've done The Last of Us Limited Edition, Borderlands Limited Edition, a whole bunch of other shit. And whatever it was, they didn't divulge a ton of details. They just said, it's kind of fucked up. So if you plunk down your hard-earned money, you're not going to be getting much of shit. Now, to try to make up for this, Warner Brothers is issuing free DLC, which is kind of hard to say that's free because we already know that shit was completed and shouldn't even be DLC to begin with, but, you know, that's an argument for another day. But they're issuing that as a way to try to go and apologize. Now, there's a couple ways to go and look at this. One is to look at it as the very angry consumer, and rightfully so, considering that there has been all of this time for them to manufacture and make this product because it was announced quite a while ago. And now, all of a sudden, we're talking just like a week, basically, away from release, and suddenly it's not going to happen? Well, that's kind of fucked. You know, and anybody out there that was like, I'm really against pre-ordering, I fucking hate that shit, kind of gives them the ammunition and proof as to be like, haha, see the kind of shit that happens? And that is just, it's kind of nuts to think about that happening. I don't really understand what the fuck could have gone wrong. Maybe it's the fact that it's a transforming Batmobile, so maybe the moving parts weren't working right. Maybe there was a defect with all of them and they don't want to ship them out just to be met with an entire angry mob. There was like, what the fuck did you give us? This shit doesn't work, it's not more than meets the eye, fuck you! And a whole bunch of other shit which could have happened and would have been an even bigger PR disaster than this, so they might have been saving themselves some kind of trouble, but it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't scenarios. Now, I had no plans, personally, of getting the limited edition. I just wanted the straight-up game, because, well, my money already went towards the fucking limited edition of Fallout 4, so I was like, I'm kinda tapped right now. I can't be going around going and getting that shit. And besides, I got the Batman Arkham City and the Batman Arkham Origins ones, so I'm good. Eventually I need to get the Arkham Asylum one. Get a big fucking Batarang and shit. Now, one thing that I can say that DC Comics, Rocksteady, and Warner Brothers in general might want to learn from this is that within Batman Arkham City, their limited edition, which I've got the statue right there of Batman, that's manufactured in-house. DC Comics makes a ton of their own statues and figures. Why the fuck they're deciding to go and get a middleman to do this when the company is more than capable of producing this kind of limited edition content specifically for one of their biggest franchises and one of their biggest games in an entertainment medium? It just confuses me, because I believe that right there is the nicest thing that they included. Was the Arkham Origins one nice? Yeah, it was definitely nice. That's better. Was the Arkham Asylum Batarang cool? Yeah, it's totally fucking cool. It's a Batarang. I mean, holy fuck, if only I could actually use it and start taking down fucking criminal scum. Or just assholes I see walking down the street and just like, I don't fucking like you, and it's like, and then they all ragdoll, they're like, ugh, take that, Joker henchman. But why not just use your own company to do that? Wouldn't that save you money? Wouldn't that just be a lot easier? You know, and it'd be a good way to advertise that, hey, we make lots of statues and busts and figures and tons of other shit, so check all of this stuff out. But, you know, who the fuck knows? I feel bad for anybody out there that was heavily looking forward to this, though, because this is bullshit, frankly. I don't give a fuck if it is an error in, you know, unforeseen circumstances. This kind of stuff will happen eventually at some point in time, but it still fucking sucks. You know, and there's gonna be plenty of people out there trying to be like, oh, you know, that's what they get for pre-ordering and stuff. But even if they didn't pre-order and they just went to the store to go and pick up one of these that were sitting at a store, or they were waiting for it to come into the mail from Amazon or some crap like that, that still sucks really bad because it didn't show up. It wasn't actually there. You know, that's a massive amount of disappointment because a lot of those internal goodies, which we take limited editions and collector's editions for granted now, you know, way back in the day, talking like several console generations ago, it was few and far between. You were relying heavily upon companies like Working Designs. And that was it. Nobody else was really doing limited editions. Now we see them for every single AAA major release that is going to be hitting store shelves, and even the not-so AAA release titles. So, you know, shit happens. But is this a lesson to be learned about pre-ordering and the fact that people shouldn't be doing it? You know, and for me, I've always personally felt that pre-ordering for niche titles made the most amount of sense. For those titles that you know probably won't ever show up at that store to begin with, and are produced in very small quantities. I'm talking like, you know, RPGs mainly, just obscure shit that, you know, not a lot of people know about. That kind of stuff makes sense to pre-order because that's how most of those stores are able to go and convince, you know, the publishing company, hey, send us a copy, or else they don't end up getting one. I've seen plenty of stores where they got one copy of a game. One. I have so many fucking games here in my game room that I've enjoyed and played the fuck out of that the store got one fucking copy. And the copy I got was the goddamn display copy. You know, that kind of shit. That makes sense. With AAA releases, you don't have to nearly as much. Hell, with the Batman Arkham games, I've seen the limited editions and collector's editions, wherever the fuck you want to go and consider them, sitting on store shelves thereafter. They're never really all that limited. They're just produced for a smaller amount of time by comparison to them just producing a fucking disc and case and putting that shit out there for you to go and purchase. But is this going to be one of those examples for everybody to learn a lesson from? You know, it's an interesting question, but to anybody out there, did you actually have the Batman Arkham Knight limited edition pre-ordered? And if you did, what are your thoughts on that? And even if you didn't, naturally you should want to go and voice your opinions, concerns. Maybe similar situations with other games have risen up into your memory that you can think of where this same exact situation happened, where it fucked over, you know, whoever was all elated and excited about something. Hell, I can still think of certain collector's editions I wish didn't hit store shelves. Dead Space 2, for example. That one fucking sucked. I'm sorry. Oh my god, the little fucking plasma cutter. I was like, that's it? Shit's like that big. Like, that's fucking sad. That's the gun that we have. And then, like, just a couple of days after, they announced some primo version. It looks like a real version. You'd see somebody who's dressed up like fucking Isaac Clarke running around cosplaying as, and it was fucking phenomenal! And we didn't get that one. We got the fucking McDonald's toy variant. I was pissed. Fucking pissed. Anyway, that's just an example, but if you can think of any out there, by all means, share below! Either way, I will conclude this video. Like always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on!